You are listening to That Big CEO Energy, where we talk all things business, life, marriage, and push you to a new edge of discovering what that big CEO energy means for you. Listen, I understand that we have barriers that we carry from when we were once employees, and those have impacted us as we continue to build our businesses. I'm here to walk alongside you and give you encouragement through interviews with friends and other women in business who have broken down those barriers and paved their own way. Tune in with me as we uncover some of the unconscious things that we do that keep us from building that big CEO energy we've always dreamed about. Let's dive in. In today's episode, I want to talk all about the power of accountability in our businesses. Today, we're going to focus specifically on finding support along your business journey to overcome your mental hurdles. And I think it's important to really talk about this mental piece that we have and how to find support and what support looks like. And it's not just we come together every Tuesday evening and we have book club and we chat about our husbands and our kids and our daily lives. But when we are running businesses, it is important to find other women in business that empower you, encourage you, lift you up, but also hold you accountable. And I know that running a business can be super challenging, and often it's our mindset and our mental hurdles that hold us back from reaching our full potential. And this power of accountability, right, cannot be overstated enough when it comes to having a woman-owned business. It's not just about having someone to answer to, but it's about having a support system that really understands our unique struggles and encourages us to really push beyond those mental barriers. I have a few women in my group and I wouldn't say it's a group, it's like, women that I've connected with that honestly, I don't know if they know each other. Probably not. But it's like this little community that I have built around where when I feel like I need somebody to give me an answer, right, that I know is going to be totally honest, it's going to come from the very best benefit of me and have no frills, I know to go to that person. If I want someone who is a little bit encouraging, and not to say that that other person isn't encouraging, but if I want someone that is just going to give me like the fluff, right? And whoa, the cheerleader, you can do it. I know that that's totally different other person. Not saying that either one is different, beneficial, more beneficial than the other. But what I'm saying is when you have and create a little community, and there are those people out there, right? You just have to be vulnerable enough to share your story and get involved with other people. But it's not just about having someone to answer to, but it's about having that support system that understands our unique struggles and encourage us, right, to push beyond those mental barriers. It's about having like-minded people who can empower you, encourage you, and ultimately be that sounding board when shit gets tough. I just think about one of my prior clients and I'm just gonna call her Sarah. Sarah had a brilliant business idea, and what was lacking is this confidence to take the leap to do the thing. And so through this accountability partnership, we set clear goals and deadlines, and I became the sounding board. And not only was I in a position to be a sounding board, I was also providing guidance and support because that's what I do. And as a result, all of the sudden, Sarah started to gain this momentum. She needed to overcome these mental hurdles. And we launched that thing so successfully that even when it didn't look like what we had thought it was going to look like, the glitz and the glamour and the woo, Sarah and I counted that as a win
because the win was not in the tangible thing that was executed. The win was in the mental hurdle that she had overcome. And she had now gained momentum to move on to other things that had been sitting on the plate in order to move. I mean, the laundry list was long, right? Like there was all of these thoughts and ideas, and they just sat on paper because she had no idea where to start first. It was like she had this analysis paralysis that was going on, but she also lacked confidence, and she also lacked accountability for someone to step in and go, this is brilliant. You need to be doing this. You are actually the most appropriate person to be doing this. And it was all through this mindset work that we had to be thinking about. Why was she feeling like she couldn't move forward? Where was that coming from? And we really got raw and honest, and there were some tears shed about why she had the fear. And we were able to look fear dead in the face and move it to the back of the bus. And that's my hope for every woman that I work with, is that we can directly look fear in the face and say, get your ass to the back of the bus because you don't have a place here. I've talked about fear in a lot of different ways. And one of the ways that I've talked about it was fear can drive your decisions, right? And sometimes, most of the time, those decisions are not the true decision that you really wanted to make. It's the decision that is comfortable. It is the decision that, yes, it'll generate revenue and it's in your wheelhouse and you've done this before. So fear says, it's easy. Just do that. Why are you wanting to do X, Y, and Z? That is, you don't know anything about that. That's way out of your wheelhouse. I mean, you're gonna have to do a lot of research in order to get this thing off the ground. And when you look it dead in the face and you say, you don't have a place here. I understand that these are factors that I need to be looking at. Yup. But I also understand that it is worth it and I am ready to put in the work. And when you say to fear, either out loud or in your brain, whatever it is, when that fear comes rushing to you and you instantly get a sense of, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be doing that. That's fear talking. That is fear right in your face. And you need to look at it and say to it, where is this coming from? Why is this triggering me right now? This introspective behavior that we need to have when we're a woman business owner needs to be with accountability, not only to other people, right? To make sure that we're meeting our deadlines and we're doing this stuff and things, but we need to hold ourselves accountable in the sense of the mindset work that needs to happen. Accountability truly has the power to propel us forward. And I want to help find and cultivate on how accountability can show up in all of our lives. But I also want you to understand that there is some personal legwork that needs to happen. And if you constantly feel yourself in your business, right, showing up and at every turn you're like, ooh, I don't know if I should be doing that right now. Or I have other things to do right now. I shouldn't be doing this because I have a whole list of other things that I need to be doing. While that could be true, right, that you're not bouncing from project to project to project, I would say that now that is time to come back to the center and reprioritize what is important. Because if the thing that is really big and scary is the thing that is going to be the ultimate needle that moves your business forward, you can, and you are allowed to, let me repeat that. You can, and you are allowed to readjust your business priorities based on either something new that you have found that you want to be doing in your program, in your business, whatever that is, or something that has been sitting on the list that now you are ready to do. And being ready is something that you need to take action and do right away. So here you are I'm your little cheerleader. And if you needed somebody to say it to you, there you go. But I think one effective strategy, right, is to seek out like-minded entrepreneurs. I talked a little bit about this before, but we're going to go a little bit deeper. But it goes beyond, right, just seeking people out on the internet or getting on Clubhouse or whatever that is. Join networking groups. And I know a million of you are going to come back and be like, I don't want to. That's why I left corporate. I don't like doing networking groups. I hear you. I do. I hear you. But networking groups, I'm saying this in terms of like-minded people, right? So are there other women in business groups? You might have to do a little bit of search in your area, or maybe it's an online group that meets via Zoom, or a Clubhouse room, whatever it is. But it's seeking out those like-minded entrepreneurs that can provide the accountability, that want to help other businesses succeed. And you are getting together, maybe it's once a week or maybe it's once a month, but you're getting together with these other like-minded people and talking about real, authentic stuff. And when I say real, authentic stuff, it is like, what is the problem area? What is the hurdle that I'm trying to work along? Can I be vulnerable with these people? And I think it all comes down to being excited about talking about the journey that is really, really hard. A lot of people are really, really excited and they are in their wheelhouse and they talk about, I created X, Y, and Z program and I am making X amount of dollars and life is going really well and business is doing really good. But that's not the people that I want to be around in order to understand what are the mental hurdles that I need to break. What were they struggling with in order to get to where they are? A lot of people don't want to talk about that because we live in a curated feed where everything is pretty and everything is lovely. And so who wants to talk about the hardship? Who wants to show up and say, I had this sitting on my to-do list for 3 years. And I had to look at myself and say, back fear to the back of the bus. What is happening? What is going on? Why am I fearful of this thing? And once you realize that you can talk with people real and authentically about that, those are the partnerships that you want. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself. Those are the people that you want to network with. And when those partnerships involve setting specific goals and holding each other accountable, where you're coming to the table and you're saying, I have this big goal. I want to chunk it down. And someone says, yep, so when I see you next week, what are you going to have accomplished? And when you show up that next week, well, you better darn make sure that, but it's also having integrity, right? What are you doing when someone's not looking? What are you doing when you are all by yourself? Can you hold yourself to a higher standard to get those things done, to be held accountable? I want to make sure that it's not just about showing up and having accountability, right? That is not the thing that moves the needle of the business forward. It is also the thing that you are in a support system that encourages and fosters support so that you know you are not being taken advantage of and that you're showing up in a community of people that really are just cheerleaders and want to love on you. And it's crucial to find somebody who understands kind of your industry and the unique challenges that you're being faced by, either being a woman entrepreneur or whatever your business model is. Finding any coach or mentor group, that's not just going to do. But when you have to really look inside yourself and think about what you're struggling with, what is your area of business? What is your business struggling with? And what do you need? There is a moment of honesty that needs to happen before you go and find an accountability group. It's not just, I'm going to show up and this is going to fix all my problems. Right? That's not the thing. right? Building a strong network is super, super vital, and I will talk about it till I'm blue in the face. But it's especially vital for women entrepreneurs who face unique hurdles. Now, let's address this mental aspect, right, of accountability. How can we overcome the fear and the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome that happens that can really hinder our progress? And overcoming these mental hurdles really requires this multifaceted approach. We talked about fear, right? Looking fear in the face. But firstly, it's important to recognize when fear is happening. At what point, right, does that fear happen? And recognize that fear and self-doubt are completely normal. Like, you're going to have it. You're just going to have it. Other people have it. Literally everyone goes through it. I promise you. I really, really promise you. You are not alone, but they don't have to define our journey, right? Developing this growth mindset and practicing self-compassion and seeking support from other mentors and coaches can help you reframe the perspective, which are really crucial steps. And when you have a growth mindset, you really look at things differently. When something doesn't launch, right? When something doesn't launch well, or things become overwhelming, or your team is falling apart at the seams, having a growth mindset really allows you to quickly reframe those instances for you to be able to pull out of the situation, get in a 500-foot view and in an objective growth mindset and refocus on actionable steps rather than these negative feelings that can come with it. Addressing the negative feelings and saying, that's interesting. I'm going to make note of that. That negative feeling came up when X, Y, and Z started happening. I'm going to think about that a little bit more. Why was that happening then? But then also the growth mindset says we're making notes. And then next time that it comes up like that, we're not going to react that way, or we're not going to think that way, or whatever. But the growth mindset says, okay, what do I now need to do? A, so that doesn't happen again, but then B, we're getting in the same direction that we were originally going before this negative thought happened. It's all an adventure, right? I know I've mentioned this once before, but someone had mentioned to me once before, right, that their dad always used to think of everything in life as an adventure, right? You get a blown tire. Oh, we're on this adventure now. Like, does it suck? Yeah, it sucks a lot because you're probably on the side of the road. You might be in the middle of nowhere. It might be hot. It might be cold. And you're late because who actually leaves their house on time? And so you have all of these factors that you could be really, really mad at. And you could be like, well, if I just left earlier. Or you could say, well, if I would have bought my tires when I was supposed to. It's all of those little things that you could focus on the negative. But when you get a blown tire and you get out of the car and you look at it and you're like, yeah, that sucks. I guess I'm not going anywhere fast. To call the tow truck person, to call X, Y, and Z, whoever it is, to come and help you with the tire. And yep, you're going to be late. So I guess I wasn't meant to go to that thing. That's totally fine. And I'm going to spend my productivity enjoying nature now because that's all that's offered to me, right? Is nature. Now I get to enjoy God's beauty. It's finding the adventure and everything. And it's not this, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so positive all the time. Yay. Everything's great. Everything is bonesy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you take a growth mindset look and you go, yeah, that freaking sucks. Yep. And here's the lesson in that. Here's what I'm going to do differently. Here's what, moving forward, maybe I'm going to be a little bit more prepared, right? Or maybe I'm going to do my research a little bit deeper on if this product is really going to sell. Or maybe it's a friendship. Maybe it's something that you need to get rid of. But Additional techniques such as like visualization, positive affirmations, and celebrating small wins really can boost your confidence. I'm not saying get rid of those things and always look at things objectively and you know, in a way that doesn't encourage wins or shifting yourself to a positive mindset. But that is something truly too that we often miss, right? Very rarely do we stop and applaud ourselves. We get so lost in this hustle that when we hit a goal and we've had something on the vision board or we hit a money milestone, we look at the next thing and we keep moving. When was the last time that you reflected on all that you've accomplished and patted yourself on the back? Was it yesterday? Was it when your course came out and yes, maybe, right? Just maybe you didn't get as many signups, but you got the 3 that really mattered. And maybe, right? You didn't hit your money goal for the year, but you were, we're going to use big numbers because I always wish for big numbers. Maybe it was $200,000 less than what you got. But you made an income that year. Yeah. You were able to go on that trip. You were able to buy your kids stuff for school. You were able to invest a little in your business. Yeah, those were things that you were able to do. Can we celebrate those? Can we celebrate the little stuff? Can you celebrate you? You worked really, really hard this year. All the hours, late nights. Can you pat yourself on the back? I didn't expect to cry in this episode. But if you don't keep encouraging yourself, if you don't keep being your own cheerleader, there is nobody in entrepreneurship that will come alongside you and do it unless you find a community or someone, a mentor, a coach, or someone who can work alongside you in the hard and also be there when maybe things don't go that way. And you're having a really hard time reframing what that looks like. Those are the people in the trenches that you need to have. And overcoming these mental hurdles takes a long time, right? This is not an overnight something that we're going to be doing. It takes time, it takes effort, but I really feel like with the right strategies and support, it's absolutely possible. The biggest hug I can give you is to remember that you are not alone in your journey. Seek out accountability partners and a community who will lift you up and challenge you to grow. Embrace the power of vulnerability as it fosters connection and support. And lastly, celebrate every milestone, no matter how small. Each step forward is a true testament of your strength and your resilience. You've got this.
Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you heard something that helped you, I would love it if you would leave a review and share it with your friends. This helps more people just like you become inspired to move the needle of their big CEO energy into a positive direction. If you would like to learn more about how I can help you streamline and position your business for growth or lead your business as a CEO, feel free to jump into the show notes with all of the links to find me. And don't forget to head over to Instagram so we can be pals.